You're such an asshole.
I do not say it to feel better, but I say it because it's true, and it will make you feel better. Part of anger management is realizing how evil, stupid, or uh, maybe just your enemies. Who people usually have enemies because they're evil or stupid and causing you problems in life. How these people, because they are flawed, uh, end up getting punished by reality. They in a sense fail to abide by reality and therefore shoot themselves in the foot. I give the example of the school bully where we attend. This guy was a monster, just a big young man. And of course, parents, or not parents, I'm sorry, teachers just love bullies more than they do innocent students. They just let this guy terrorize the school. Well, he terrorized the wrong person out of school and died in 1997, I believe it was. And I try to look it up. I can't. Somebody who's more familiar with, I guess, county records or whatever, I could look up the coroner's report. But I almost guarantee you, he ran into a guy who was a little bit bigger or someone that had a gun, and he's dead now. And then when it comes to politics, I know those of you who are hardworking and want to make a living and want to abide by reality and deliver a good quality product to what people want and get married and have a family and be unharassed and not taxed at 40%, et cetera, et cetera. You hate leftists because leftists just want your money. That's it. It's how simple it is. I'm simplifying it, but it doesn't make it any less true. But then I say, well, yeah, and I can understand you being angry at leftists for wanting to take 40, 50, 60% of your money, all of it, some of them, because they don't pay attention to the budget. I can't. You're very angry. To make life very difficult, to make women fat and insufferable. Leftist feminists. So no, we don't. Yeah, you do. And you may not agree with that, but that's how most people view it on the right side of things. I say, okay, fine. But before you get more angry, have you noticed what kind of squalor leftists live in? And I don't mean poverty like Section 8 housing or poor. Like, there's that too. But do you think anyone likes living in Minneapolis right now? In Minneapolis, not to bore you with Minnesota state politics, but if you go into the budget, you'll look and you'll see, wait, why is there a ton of hand lotion? It's for all the people in Minneapolis and St. Paul to jerk off to themselves because they're just such good little Democrats. Meanwhile, places are burning down. There's traffic. There's now an increasing amount of homeless camps. There's no cultural things, or dwindling few things to do in the Twin. I remember when Minneapolis was hopping, man. Prince was king and everyone was having a good old time, and there were nightclubs and great bars and restaurants and music. It was a good time. And then, that went away. But can you imagine what it's like living in Southside Chicago? I mean, we make fun of San Francisco all the time, and rightly so. Like, what's it like where there's nothing but homeless people all around? Crime up to, I believe it's $900 is legal. There's no one downtown because no one's going there because it's not safe. The city is abandoned. And all these people are on drugs and homeless and shitting in the streets. Dude, what's it like? And then the left, they got to keep with their face up. They got to be proud of that. Oh, we're so proud. San Francisco's a great town. And I'd say even worse than that has got to be like Portland and Seattle, where the self-loathing has just got to be off the charts. That's we're not even sunny occasionally. It's just Mopey and Kurt Cobainy. Did you ever think what it's like living in those towns? Like what it's like to be one of those people? So, do I want to tell the story? Yeah, I'll tell the story quickly and I'm going to. All right. So I got a client one. No, I didn't get a client one time. I had a prospective client one time. This client was a aspiring actress in the Twin Cities area. And I looked her up and she was like working like on just wait staff, which is fine. That's what young 20-something people do. And she gave me all of her problems and want to know how to essentially not be poor. I'm like, well, you majored in dumb crap. And I looked her up and she was like this rabid leftist feminist type and voted to make my life harder, voted to take more of my money away. She is a parasite. All right. Now I'm like, okay, I said, well, you've, I didn't even say anything about the politics or anything. Just, all right, you have problems here. You majored in dumb crap. You keep avoiding work. Admittedly, though, you are working as wait staff. So, okay, fine, but you're not working. And then you do this ridiculous thing with theater that doesn't pay. So you got to, and I said, okay, so for all this, you're looking at about $400. And she responded, I hope it didn't even say, she didn't even ask. She said, I hope it would have been implied that I am financially struggling and I need help. I'm like, typical parasitic victim mentality little bitch. And I don't mean bitch because female. I mean like a little bitch, like not strong, independent. Just the solution is everybody else has to make accommodations for me because I'm a stupid, lazy motherfucker. That's what it is. She didn't major in engineering. She didn't major in accounting. And she's not working another job that actually pays. And I'm going to be in theater. Typically a work avoidant, lazy, pathetic person. And you could all get pissed off at that person, but I'm thinking like, what's that like? She's got to be in her 30s now. And if I looked her up, it'd still be the same. I guarantee she didn't improve her life because she's a leftist. That's a lifestyle. That's a life choice where you avoid work at all costs and only do what you want and then demand the rest of the world bail you out or subsidize you or make it easier for you in life. But it does, I mean, and yeah, you might get some kind of subsidies and government aid and all this other stuff, but you're the problem. You're the reason you suck. You're the reason your life sucks. And it's usually because you're lazy. You don't work enough economic profits to afford the things you would like in life. And so this guy sent me an article, and he sent me several articles, but he sent me a request. Crappy. Back again and would like to remain anonymous for a video discussing the wonderful land of opportunity, New York City, not the state, the city, and its migrant crisis. There are a few articles that I will link to below. Seems like from the information I have gathered, New Yorkers are complaining about the Texas migrant buses being brought to them. You guys voted for it. Wait, you're going to vote for it but not be responsible for it? You guys vote Democrat. You hate Texas. You hate Republicans. You hate America. You want to ruin the country, period. Full stop. Leftism is a lifestyle choice, a philosophy. But you never pay for it because what are you again? You're little bitches. And I just love it. The text like, all right, we're shipping them out here. And you should. What I like about the governor, I don't know who the governor of Texas is he or she is saying, okay, you have made a choice. Now you suffer the consequences. He's making you responsible for your actions. You guys vote for this. You really just don't care that there's a border or a nation or rules or like, that's fine. Okay, here you go. You support them. You deal with them. And now typical leftists, oh my God, I don't want to. It's also happening in Chicago. I think they're housing a lot of the migrants in the schools. Public building makes sense, big. And they can't have their sports games anymore. And now the few parents that exist in Southside Chicago, see what I did there. They're complaining because their kids can't play in sports. You vote for and I know this is like talking to a mollusk with these leftists. You did the thing that is the cause. You keep voting Democrat. And we were able to push off all the costs and consequences with that. But now it's not really even a financial issue. You've brought in other human beings into the country that there was no infrastructure or jobs or place for them to be. You thought it'd be funny. You hate Texas. You hate, Republicans or whatever. And now, Republicans get clever a little bit. Now they're in your neighborhood. Now you get to deal with the way you are now, for one of the first times, paying the price for the way you vote. And again, typical little Democrat leftist bitches. I can't find a job. It's the Republicans in the Senate. No, it's you're a journalism major. That's why. So continuing on about New York, complaining about the Texas migrant buses being brought up to them and that all the budget cuts being made are cutting things that the precious New Yorkers want, like cutting police funding. Well, I thought you guys, all cops are bastards, right? Fixing roads and buildings and even schooling. Never mind the fact that although they have budget cuts, their taxes are still increasing. He has recently, since last Thursday, the 11th, backtracked after the precious New Yorkers complained about not getting their gimme dats. Here are a couple links of articles discussing the crisis, and I'm not going to go through all the different articles about. Yeah, you brought in a bunch of people that you don't have the infrastructure or the housing. There's 90. I did a little bit of research. 90,000 people are homeless. They sleep. They don't. 90,000 people sleep on the streets a night in New York. And I don't know how many immigrants you brought in. All right, but you brought in some more, and housing usually goes at a premium in New York City. Oh my God, we gotta pay for these people. Yeah, you brought them in. I like it's your local taxes that get to go up to feed them, unless you wanted like a humanitarian crisis on your hands where they're dying of starvation and cold now. I guess it's cold, right? Why did you encourage them to come here? What you should do is you should send them back. You should vote to have the private. Nope, we're going to send them back to wherever it was that they came. Put them on a boat, put them on a plane, whatever. You might have some upfront costs, so you have to deal with it. But then they go back home, and maybe they have the family network and some housing. And I don't know how much further north you can get. The only country north of New York would be Canada. Not a lot of Canadian migrants coming in, so it's going to be warmer where they're going. It's probably best for them too. And then after that, then you could get back to just taxing American citizens to paying for your parasitic acids. Apparently, there's a ruling from New York courts dating back to the early 80s that if you are an immigrant and migrant and you claim asylum in New York City must give you free housing, no questions asked. Look at that. Look at that. You know-it-all boomers back in the 70s and 80s voted for that because you were Democrats and you knew so much better. And now you get to house technically the world. Someone comes into New York City. Oh, yeah, I'm a refugee. I'm claiming asylum. Here's your free housing. You voted for that. You did. You guys did. And I looked it up, and it's true. I'm not going to read the article. Please make this public announcement to all immigrants that they may be watching your channel to go there for free housing. I absolutely do. They should. I mean, that's really what they should be doing is just going to New York. They should be. And I hope that Texas is doing it, giving them instructions in their native language. Like, go here, say this thing to that person, get free housing. And we should be sending all immigrants to New York for the free housing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Unless you were an immigrant that applied here because you had a job lined up instead of the thieves coming at our borders. Well, free shit. Our country sucks. I know we have 3 children in tow, and that isn't really why we're poor. It's not that. It's because of whatever, this random line in the dirt. If we get to that side of it, it's better for us. Not that we have 3 piss shit kids we can't afford. So I love it when socialism bites you dumbass motherfuckers in the ass all the time. I love it, man. I really it gets so bad. I really look. I'm like, man, you're homeless. Do you think maybe you ought to rethink some things? I'm not saying you become card carrying Republicans, but maybe you reevaluate this idea of free shit. Like maybe think about getting a job or majoring in engineering or joining the military or something. No. That requires work. I'd rather have a life of 65 years of homelessness and hell in Milwaukee, which I don't think they have that asylum. 3 homeless people died because of the cold. You must really hate work a lot to have that happen to you. That must really suck to be in that lifestyle. Please make this play. Yeah, they should. They absolutely should. In any state or mayor, governor or mayor that has migrants coming in, like, nope, we're shipping to New York. Here you go. And if there was a single asshole on the boob tubes that can make a broadcast to all the border crisis immigrants to flood these wonderful cities like LA, San Francisco, New York, where the land is truly bountiful, where the women love immigrant dick, even out in public in the subway. So don't be shy. That's another one. Like, yep. Oh, dude, for the immigrants, somebody translate this to all the different languages in the world. Our American Democrat women love immigrant dick. And you just got to be really aggressive with them and romance them. They're so sick and tired of their pussy soy boy Democrat men who like ask for permission. Democrat women in major cities love diversity, they love immigrant dick, and they love masculine men who are really macho and have aggressive salesmanship. Just because she says no doesn't mean if you don't ask her 14 more times, she'll never say yeah. Just want to let somebody translate that into foreign languages for me. Where they get free food, housing, and don't have to work too hard for the basics in life. That would be amazing. Make sure that you overemphasize the points that was written by another prominent author that wrote an amazing book called Enjoy the Decline. That's linked below. I think he wrote a good chapter under there called Plunder, which they can use the land of opportunity in New York City or Chicago or California. The state of California is great. Oh, and tell them the shit outside and on the properties where shows like The Daily Show and the Late Night Show and Jon Stewart's Manson shitting in the streets are now acceptable in New York City. You can go poo wherever you want. You should camp wherever you want. You just got to make sure you got to go to the right town. Like, and I'm not even kidding about that. You will be moved and arrested and harassed and not allowed to sleep in certain states and certain towns, mostly Republican ones. But the leftist ones, go camp and set up shop wherever you like. Absolutely. And if you're upset about something, what you really should do is go block down an interstate in major metropolitan, wait for rush hour and block it down. Just like they did in, I think it was New York. Wasn't it the pro-Palestinian groups to shut down all the major highways or the bridges? I think they were protesting on bridges. I can't think of a better group of people than New York City people. And New York City people, by the way, you voted for this. You owe migrants free housing. You do. That wasn't like a moral claim. Like, oh, you really ought to pay for the house. No, you legally owe them housing. You dumb fucking idiots. Is there even pride in New York? I know, like, after 9/11, there was like a little bit of pride. Do you guys even have pride anymore? Or are you just a bunch of sad, dumb motherfuckers on that island? Like, well, we need more money. We need more. Like, you got Ocasio-Cortez as one of your reps. Like, oh my gosh. Like, Parasite Island. Does anyone work on it? What? Is like a little bit of people on Wall Street still working and then some, like, or is it everyone fled off to Connecticut? What? We got our culture. You got shit. Isn't most of New York culture like, I know they got the Statue of Liberty and some architecture, but isn't most of the culture like 60s and 70s oriented? Oh, Club 54, I know it's shut down, but I mean, what culture do you really have? Really, what culture is there? I will say one more thing. Shame on you, New Yorkers and Californians, for not taking in more people and keeping them in your bountiful lands of opportunity. It is your duty and responsibility as a democracy to house these people and keep them there for generations to come. You should give up your properties and homes and let the newcomers live in them. Didn't Boston? No, not Boston. I think it's Massachusetts. Either the mayor of Boston or the governor of Massachusetts was asking Massachusetts or Boston citizens to start housing some of the migrants. I think that's a great idea. I can't wait for that to happen. All jokes aside, newcomers will live with them while you live outside to feel their pain and understand your privilege while continuing to pay the taxes and benefits for them so they could come back for years of prosecution. All jokes aside, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. They deserve this. Let me know the price and have fun. You'll love this as much as I do. I kind of do. I feel sad that the country's gone this way. Like, we just don't give a shit about a country. Like, oh, we're Americans, we're bad. Or at least the Democrats feel that way. But I do love the fact that because Democrat policies are free shit for everyone, you get the scumbags and the parasites in the major leftist areas, and consequently it ruins them. And one thing I just love is watching diehard leftists in these communities, epitomized by the city council and the politicians, the municipal politicians, like, have to lie and say like, oh yeah, Minneapolis is a great community. There's a lot here. It's like, no, it's just this Marxist shithole, frankly. It's just an experiment in Marxism. It's a shithole. People are shitting in the street. You're homeless. But they're so wedded to their politics, they can't possibly, man, this is a shithole. We need to clean up the town. I mean, Giuliani did that with New York a bit, but that's the exception, not the rule. So there you go. If at any time You feel bad, just go drive to the shit part of town in a major leftist area in Vegas. I did. I took my friends. They came in. We had some time to kill. I said, let's go do North Vegas, which is the immediate north side Vegas. There's all the homeless people, and it makes you happy. Makes you appreciative that you have a work ethic. Not, oh, you're so lucky to live in a nice town or a neighborhood. No, you had the work ethic to work up the money so you didn't have to be poor. And I do. I am intending on taking little nieces and nephews. Like, yeah, we're going to the poor side of town. Let's go. You see the homeless encampment? See that guy putting a dildo in his ass? I actually got video of that in California. Some guy on crack putting a dildo in his ass and having a good old time. I'm like, there you go. There's your Democrat policies. This is what happens when we don't major in engineering. Okay. So you can go ahead and not work and end up like this, or you can be wise and intelligent, learn a skill, work hard, and never have this happen to you. All right. Let's go to the super chats. Christoph Anon, $5. I suggested at a Wyoming Republican meeting shipping illegals to sanctuary cities, and Trump advisors heard and just ran with it. Good. I get out. Here you go. And it actually technically is better for the immigrants, because the immigrants, there's not welfare or anything. It's not as much in Republican states. Like, you go there, like Californians and left. Oh my God, let's feed you before we feed our own children. We love you. Oh, can I suck your immigrant dick? I love you more than my husband because I have to. That's what the politics say. I don't know. Leftist women for immigrant dick. You have a .org. Could you girls just like, I mean, they got needs, right, ladies? Right? You're not going to satisfy your husband, right? You got there's immigrant dick. You girls, how much could you girls virtue signal by offering your sexual services to the immigrants? Huh? All right, that's it. Link down below. Enjoy the Decline. Book available on Amazon.com. We'll see you guys later.